welcome back to the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. And we are sitting down today with a musician, a songwriter, a virtuoso guitar player, a soulful vocalist, and a luthier here in the Central Susquehanna Valley. We are talking about Sean Farley, and we're going to talk about his remarkable life, his sojourn from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania to Arizona, where he learned the craft of guitar making and repair, back to Williamsport, where he has been a part of the local music scene here for well over 15 years, maybe even longer than that. And we're going to get right into the festivities here on this episode. No opening music, but we are going to play some songs from Sean's albums and his new project. I don't want to talk about it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, our good friend, Sean Farley, on this episode of the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. I have been waiting to do this interview for a long time. And really, well, it was. There was a little bit of a scheduling issue because Sean is a busy man. But there are a number of people in the area, in the local music that I like. But there's only a few that I'm very, very fond of. And Sean Farley is one of them.
It's an honor, sir.
You have been an encourager. And I'm just speaking personally, and then we're going to get into the broader picture. But you've been a very big influence and encourager of me. Oh. And you've given me good advice, and sometimes it was things that I didn't want to hear at the time, but I needed to hear them. And I think that's part of why you are so influential in this area. We'll talk about when we first met, because I think if I remember, we met before I even retired back here, but we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this episode features, as I said, somebody that I just have a lot of admiration for, and that's Sean Farley.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for sitting down with us. So I think the first time I met you was before we retired up here. I think we were house hunting, and somebody said, well, there's a guitar place in downtown Williamsport. And I said, oh, Sides. I go, no, it's a Guitarly's. It's right downtown. So I stumbled in, and the first thing I seen when I walked in the door was this what looked like an electric resonator.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this guy's cool.
Resonators are cool.
They are cool.
It's automatic.
Yeah. But what struck me at that time, because, I really, you treated me, like, you treated me with respect. I mean, it's like, who the hell's this guy? And I was like, this guy's cool. This guy's got class. And so you from the day one, from the first time I met you, you've just been a class act.
Well, yeah, I like to think of myself as a mostly nice guy. And then in the guitar shop, when I opened up, so I went to like a guitar making school. Mm-hmm. That was like one of the coolest chapters of my life. And then I kind of immediately, after that, you can go apprentice, you can go do stuff, various things. But I was like not a lot of people just jump to opening a shop. Yeah. But I had a business background, and I wanted to, I knew this area had like two really good music stores where I've bought everything from. But, I wanted to do more of the repair focus and custom making guitars. Mm-hmm. There are guys around this area like Ken Whitman, Andy Kohler, that I really aspired and admired. And ultimately, Andy Kohler went to Roberto Venn. So it was like those kind of guys inspired me in that way. And then when I opened this shop, I kind of wanted it to be, I think a lot of guitar shops I've been to, like focus guitar shops, are this like sort of cluttered thing with like sort of an older grumpy guy back there. Mm-hmm. And like that's a vibe in itself, but I wanted to have a little more hands-on, personal, professional, like interaction with people. I really wanted to like figure out what each person was looking for repair-wise or custom guitar-wise, and help them get there. Yeah. And, I think this music community has taught me so much, and I've had people who gave me that advice. And it's like this passing of the torch that I think is really important. And at some point, I guess I was like in a position to start giving back. And even that felt weird. I was like, well, I'm not like quite the old guy in town, who's like has experience. Like, there's this sort of natural hierarchy, which I respect. And I look forward to just naturally going through the process. Mm-hmm. But, like doing the open mic night, I think was started off as an extra job for me, to sort of support opening a very niche business. Yeah. And it turned into something way bigger, just interacting with people and encouraging musicians. And I'd set up my PA system, which was really nice, and make sure it sounded as good as I would want it to, and then let you plug in, let you play my guitar. My guitars got beat up doing open mic night.
Oh man,
all my customs, people were like, oh no, like this one kid bled all over it one night.
Oh shit,
had the time of his life though, And I'm a repair guy, and there's vibrations going through the guitar, just going to make it sound better. It's a tool. It doesn't need to be shiny and perfect forever. Like I drop screwdrivers on every one that I make just to put that first ding in there. But yeah, that shop and the open mic nights really tied me into the music community. I think it brought us together in two of those ways, and so yeah.
So where did this all start? So let's set the Wayback Machine to boop. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Where
So I was born, I guess, in Williamsport Hospital, but my parents lived in Woolwich at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in the nice little village of Woolwich, the famous clothing store town, So I had like a really cool upbringing, playing in the woods, allowed to disappear and not die.
Now, did you have to wear
before
flannel?
Dinner time?
Did you have to wear flannel growing up in
I
Woolwich?
didn't. No, I wore much cooler things like pajamas with belts over top of them and suspenders and stuff. I was a stylish kid. Watches all over the place. But so I grew up there, and I think bouncing around a little bit, but ended up going through like sort of high school, middle school and high school in Williamsport, and then like Coleman College, I had a family connection to my stepdad at the time was like the coach there.
Okay,
and so it's like I want to go to Berkeley, and they're like, well, it would not cost you much to go to a really great school like Lycoming. Yeah. So I ended up going there, and then. I've been in this area a lot, but then it wasn't until like guitar school that I moved away for a bit, and then that's led to a lot more wanderlust.
What got you? So are your parents or your family musical? I mean, where'd that come from?
Well, I like to. My dad always had really cool taste in music, but doesn't carry a tune. So I think because of him, it was like The Doors, Van Morrison, Eric Clapton, Cream, Led Zeppelin, Neil Young, like all these like I grew up listening to the Beatles. He was a huge Beatles fan. So I grew up listening to all that stuff. But I think the musical gene comes from my mom's side. Okay. My grandma Marilyn was a music teacher, and I can really I think that it's funny now that I have this organ of hers at my house. It's this old Hammond and Leslie combo. When they first put them together. Now it's not a mechanical Hammond, but so it's a digital version or whatever it was back in the 80s. Okay. So it's not the cool part necessarily, but the cool thing is it's the first time they put those two together because those companies were like rivals. And I guess when one of them died off, the son approached and they were like, hey, can we? Like everyone wants these two things. Can we not reverse the wiring so that it fries the transformer on like a good musician? Yeah. So
does it have the it has the true? Yeah. Okay, so it's not an emulated Leslie. It's
it has like spinning. It has like mechanical spinning speakers built into like this and the bass pedals.
Oh wow!
And so I always like to think of this sort of origin moment as we would always go to Pittsburgh to visit my grandmother, and she was a hardworking piano teacher, so we'd always show up mid-lesson. So there's music coming from the house, and I'd run down there. And also on the way out, we would listen. I don't know what the radio station was, but it had just Motown.
Oh wow!
And so I was like sleeping in the car. Like my mom said, I would like know Diana Ross lyrics when I was like too young to know Diana Ross lyrics. It's like he slept the whole time. So I was like osmosis learning music. Yeah. But all that music, I mean, I still think it might be one of my favorite genres is like I mean, driving out of the tunnel into Pittsburgh, seeing like the city and having like, you know, Uptight or something from Stevie Wonder playing is like the perfect, you know, thing for me. So, but I'd listen to this cool music, get to my grandma's. It was an exciting trip. And then I'd run down to the basement, and I'll never forget like going through this like workshop and then just getting blasted by this Leslie, by this Doppler effect. These like warbling sound waves, this air moving, these big, huge chords in the bass, and it's like half churchy, half like, you know, psychedelic. It was like this really, really strange thing. And I just thought that was, in that moment, I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. I want to be a musician. Yeah. And then I just was drawn to it. I wanted to be Bruce Springsteen when he would come on TV, and you know, so I think it goes back to a very, very young age. And my grandmother is the musician who I got that, like, you know, like photographic memory, like weird stuff I got from her, I think, you know, or at least I see that in her. Now, my uncle on my dad's side was a sound engineer for Lock Haven for all the big bands. Oh, wow. So he just further supported it and, you know, brought me a guitar when I had mono in the hospital. And so, like, both sides definitely influenced this. You know, I was encouraged from all angles.
Were you drawn to the keyboard? I mean, because of your grandmother, were you drawn to keyboard? I mean, so the first, like, instrument was what?
Well, so she taught piano. So eventually, you know, I took piano lessons from my grandmother. Okay. So it's always funny. I always joke I took piano lessons and drum lessons for longer than I ever took guitar lessons.
Really?
But guitar was like my escape, I think, from the rigid structure of your grandmother, like putting a yardstick down your shirt to make you sit up straight. You know, she wasn't cracking the whip too hard, but it's like you're slouching and not, you know, it was hard to focus as a kid. But, and she's a very, very old school teacher who, in hindsight, I would want my kid to have to sit through that, you know, to like toughen up and learn music that way in a way. But then it made me go up to my room and like leave me alone, put Clapton on, and I'm going to try to copy his sounds with a guitar and translate. I still think of black and white keys when someone says key of C, you know, I don't picture the, you know, ninth fret of a guitar. I picture something else.
Oh,
you know?
No kidding. Yeah. Wow. How long did you take piano lessons, keyboard lessons?
I don't know. I think it was, you know, we'd take it for, it was a couple years. It'd be on and off, maybe, you know, it was a little tumultuous sometimes, all the family dynamics, but definitely went through like 4 different color Bastion books, you know, the pink, the purple, the blue, the yellow.
So you have a pretty good grounding then in like music theory and keyboard. And, you know,
I'm actually not very good at music theory.
Oh, really?
At all. Yeah, I don't sight read music. Okay. I can like decode it and then come back. Like, but if you just drop me in, I'm not gonna like. Hey, we need a guitar player for this big band at the CAC. The guy burned himself. Like, Sean, sight read and hop in and have the time of your life, which I feel limits me. And I'm now, I think, on a quest. I think I went through some of that immature stuff. Like, oh, you don't need, you know, best songs with 3 chords, and guy didn't know, B.B. King didn't know a single chord, like all those cliches that like formed me in a lot of ways. But now I'm like, all right, well now I want to learn because it's more colors to paint with. You know, it's more, and I think whenever I go out to Colorado for my tours, those guys, like, it's like another family out there for me. They are all brilliant music school musicians. Okay. And so I am like, luckily I'm likable and have some sense of like, you know, like I've learned to play with bands and be like fit into the team, not like play too loud, take over, like, if I don't know something, I don't play. And they're like, oh, way to give it space, you know? It's like, cool. Wow, just didn't know the answer. So I kept quiet, and points for Sean, you know? So I've learned to, luckily my being a nice guy and some other things get me up on stage with those bands. Yeah. And I always come back being like, man, I need to learn stuff. Like Jesse, he's a bass player out there, one of my favorite people on the planet. But I mean, he could actually stop me. He'd be like, play a G major scale right now. And I'd like not do the exact G major scale. It's like I could play, you know, but I was like, oh man, like isolating that very specific piece of music theory. Yeah. I'm not jumping right to it with full confidence, you know? Wow. Okay. So now since then, I can do that, you know, like I come back and I'm like, I cannot let Jesse stump me again like that, you know? So like my competitive drive and like also like there's some humility there and there's like these natural things. I mean, I'm aware of where I am on a food chain and I like the space that I have left to grow and mature and figure, you know, as long as the arthritis isn't too bad, man, I'll be a dangerous old guy with a guitar.
Yeah, good.
So I look forward to that growth and that natural. I always think time is the missing ingredient to everyone's frustration. It's like, you got to bake it now. You know what I mean? It's got to like, just time has to run its course.
Yeah, yeah. So what was your first guitar? Where did you get your first guitar? Because that's what I think of when I see you.
Yeah, I remember my uncle brought me one, or maybe it was a keyboard. I mean, some of it's fuzzy because it's very young age, you know, or like 5, 6, 7, yeah. And then but I do remember because I remember the apartment, it was my dad's apartment when I was probably like 9 or 10. Someone gave me this guitar. I actually have the little fuzzy amp I used over there. I don't even think it works. Yeah. But it was like a Strat style thing. It might have been from Lanning's Music. It might have been a student that someone else had. Like, and it was like, hey, you're into music? Here, try this. I mean, I don't know. People were handing me guitars.
Really?
So I was into it. I had a wooden spoon that I would like pretend to play guitar when I was like in a diaper.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what the exact first one. I do remember in middle school then. Shout out to my buddy Webby. He let me borrow his West Tone. It was a West Tone guitar, and it was sort of Strat style, rosewood fretboard. I remember he brought that when I opened the shop, and I like took it apart, and I was like, man, the components in this are nicer than all these guitars that are out there right now. Full size potentiometers with good solder joints, a brass nut, no plastic, you know. So that was a guitar that I had for a long time. I remember buying my first guitar at Robert M. Sides. It was like an Epiphone Strat style.
Okay.
That's now retired with B.B. King and Buddy Guy signatures on it.
Oh, sweet.
That was like my pride and joy. I think that was the first one I bought myself.
Yeah.
You know, I got like a American Strat for my high school graduation, which was a big deal. Family pitched in and got me that.
Oh, wow.
But then I bought a couple other guitars, but then that's when I wanted to make my own.
So were you in bands like, you know, during high school playing guitar? I mean, would you...
In middle school, I remember playing with some guys. Chris Weaver was like the drummer who could do the intro fill to Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, okay.
And so that made him, he was top of the food chain there. Yeah. My buddy Dave Oler was playing guitar. And then I think John Campanelli was on bass. So I was doing like, that was middle school at Curtin.
Okay.
And then I remember being with like... there was other guys I was in bands with. I know I wasn't driving because I got in a car accident with like 3 guys in a band going to my uncle's recording studio in Lock Haven.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, I was playing in groups like that. I was working on that.
No, so your uncle had a recording studio.
So my uncle in Lock Haven, my uncle Mike, everyone called him Bolt.
Okay, the sound engineer.
He and his buddy Bart Garlick, who was like known in the area for guitar, and he had a bunch of cool equipment, and they put it in the back of my uncle's house. And so if you knew the little alley, I just knew there was an alley in Lock Haven that if I went back there and parked out back and went in, there was a recording studio.
Wow.
And so we'd go there, and Jam Uncle was always recording me. I wish I could find. I did like I'm tore down, and I did the drums, the bass, the guitar.
Really?
And sang. He like layered me for the whole thing.
And you're how old at this point? I mean, you're
not driving.
No kidding.
14 or 15 maybe. Yeah. It's probably a terrible recording, but
still,
I'd love to get my hands on it.
No doubt. Ron, you know Ron Flieger, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was. I did a podcast interview with him this summer, and he was kind of the same way. He was like in studios, like before he could drive, he had to be driven to the studios. And I'm like, dang, I didn't know that, but I didn't know that about you either. Wow.
Yeah, I was chasing it. It was my thing.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to wait until later, but where did Guitarly come from? Because I always, what I saw is like, is that like a high school nickname or something?
Well, so I think Farley was a fun name to like that was I'd get called by my last name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I feel it's funny, Rye Moeller at the Bullfrog, he always had like cool nicknames for me, like when I had longer hair and I was wearing a bandana to keep it out of my way, like when I'm bartending, because I can't have hairs touching my face, I'll go insane.
Yeah.
But so he was calling me Seantonio Bandanas, like instead of Antonio Bandanas. So like there was things like that, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those guys there. You know, I was like playing guitar and like I was the young buck in town. Mm-hmm. And so Farley, they started calling me Guitarly.
Oh, funny.
And I remember hearing that. And then when I wanted to move back and open my shop, I was like, man, I feel like Guitarly's is either really cool or really corny.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked Andy Kohler, because Andy Kohler was like as cool as it gets, hot rod cars, custom guitars, like old psychedelics. There's really good sensibilities of what was cool and what was not. Mm-hmm. This almost like anti-establishment. I mean, I don't want to speak for Andy too much there, but I just had this feeling. I was like, Andy, let me run this idea by you. Would it be super lame if I called my shop Guitarly's? Because I have a degree in marketing. I was like, the name's right in there. Mm-hmm. It's my name and it's guitar. Yeah. So like, if you knew me, it would build in some of my last name. It puts me in the word guitar. Right. So you know what you're kind of walking into. Yeah. And he thought it was a really cool idea. He's like, oh man, I wish my last name rhymed with guitar, you know? So I was like, all right. I mean, if you wouldn't rip on me, for this, then I'll do it. Because that was kind of, that's kind of weird, like naming something. I don't name guitars. I don't name cars. Like, non-animate objects are non-animate objects to me. They all have their magic and their purpose, but I'm not like, oh, this is old Bessie here. And like, I've never felt comfortable doing that. So naming my shop was kind of a vulnerable moment. Yeah. Wow. But in hindsight, and then I had really great branding done for a friend of mine who was doing graphic design at Penn College. She kind of came to me and said, hey, can I like rebrand your shop for my school project? And like when you're a small business and it's like someone is asking you if they can do that for you and it would help them, you're like, oh, well, of course, like, but also sweet for me. Like,
no kidding.
I might get a really cool logo and I can't afford to hire someone to do this. So, and then she did all this research and showed it to me and I was like in tears. And then she ended up getting, I think she got like 3 like golden Addy awards for it.
No kidding.
So it was like on like a national level deemed a great logo.
Oh wow.
So I was like, heck yeah. And she she found the spaghetti letter, made her own font, digitized it, kind of got the sound hole thing, and then even like further mixed in like some sort of Celtic knot stuff, which touched on Led Zeppelin, which is my favorite band, and that was it's been a cool brand.
I always thought guitar, that's what they called him in high school, I'll bet, because he was like so into guitars. Okay, so I learned something. So
it was definitely college time. Someone who was real funny with the nicknames. We were always punny and nicknamey and so yeah. But.
So high school, you get the American strap for graduating. So what did you do after high school? Because you said you had a degree in marketing from
Lycoming.
Okay.
So I went to Lycoming and studied business. My focus was marketing. I also studied philosophy because it was just helping me figure things out. I'd be at a party, hard to focus in class, and I'd be thinking about Dr. John Whalen, what he said. And I remember I left a party one time. I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to write my paper about. Gone. On like a Saturday night. So I was like, man, I really like philosophy. And I even felt like, I was like, man, I owe it to this guy to like keep taking these classes. I want to take every class with his name on it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just hear this one guy's thing. So I'd like spread it around. But to this day, man, my favorite teacher ever,
Now who is this again?
Dr. John Whalen. He's like the head of philosophy at Lycoming. Still there? He's taught there forever, yeah. Okay. He walks up and down. There's all these legends. He's like smoking a pipe in the thing. Oh, like wow. in the quad, a lot of people would know who he was. Okay. Especially if you went to Lycoming, you were like, what's that guy? Yeah. Everyone always there were all these little legends about him. Yeah. But, just changed my life there. So, but cool. Yeah, studying the marketing at Lycoming, ended up paying off in the small business. Yeah, no
kidding. Yeah,
I was in a band in college.
All right, I was going to ask you, did you you kept the music up there in college time.
Yeah, there was a band there. They were kind of doing like the Dave Matthews thing. Mm-hmm. And it was when John Mayer put his first album out and got all these Grammys. So they were like No Such Thing, I think might have been it. But so they were playing those kind of things. The drummer was awesome.
Do you remember who was in the band?
Everyone. So, boy, I'm gonna feel bad because it was like Pig. Pig was the nickname, and I just have to look it up because it's been so long. But Kevin Ligori, was the lead guitar player and singer, and he had that like he could really do those complex Dave Matthews things, and he had a great voice, and. Kevin Mickley was the bass player, and man, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I put you on the spot. I thought
no, that's okay. Yeah. It's just been a long time. I've seen him. It's been a decade since I've seen him, but when he came through town. I think we met up at the brunch, and I got to play with him again. Oh, good. But he had like a snare, a floor tom, a cymbal, and a hi-hat. It was like the most broken down kit. Yeah. And he could do Carter Buford tricks.
Oh wow!
On like this minimal kit. Yeah. And I remember always being like, big, huge drum set isn't what it takes to be good at drums. Yeah. It like changed me. I was like, I think if I had a kit these days, it'd be like super small, keep me from being a too busy drummer. Yeah. Keep you focused on your job of just laying down a beat, right? Not showing off and like having the time of your life per se. Yeah. But yeah, I played with that group. They were called 8 Hours Wide.
Okay.
And we played some college shows. We did all these rehearsals over in their fraternity. I remember wheeling my Fender Twin through like homing campus and probably being way too loud, and the Strat. Yeah. So I was like playing lead guitar for them and doing some harmonies. And,
yeah. Oh wow.
That was cool. And we recorded an album. I have fond memories of playing with that band. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Definitely helped the formation.
Yeah. No kidding. So, graduated from college.
So I worked when I was in college. I was always working. I liked to work. I mowed 40 lawns a week, and then I got into working at the Bullfrog Brewery. Okay. So I think when I was like 19 or something, I started working there, and tons of music and craft beer. Which starts like the next 10 years of my life.
Nothing better than that. So what time frame is this? Because I know he opened that in what,
96?
96.
I think is when they opened. It was like November of 96, if my memory serves me, from like images, like the anniversary shirts and stuff. Yep. But they opened that then. So it was this really cool established place. Mm-hmm. And so a good friend of mine worked there too, which is why he's like, you should come work there and be a busser and a host. And it was this cool atmosphere, lots of music. So I think I went down there for the interview. It was Jazz Wednesday.
Oh wow!
And so it's like some killer jazz group is playing, and I was like, ooh, and it was just like the hustle and bustle in there, and the cool people from town are there. Yeah. And so I started working there and then I think between that and gigging, I made more than like especially when I was bartending there. It's like, you're bartending and playing gigs. Yeah. You're making more than any entry level marketing job. That's going to involve cold call marketing people for 2 years. Like you got to pay your dues doing what I just could not do once. Wow. So, I worked there. I was in bands. I was playing. I started hearing, I just heard so much good music, was around really cool people, and had the flexibility to just play lots of gigs.
Yeah. So this is like mid to late 90s then?
This would have been early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
Yeah. Okay. So 2001, I graduated high school and went to college, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Ooh, man, I was putting it back a little later than that. Yeah. I was putting it back to like mid 90s.
So it was probably 2002 when I started working at the Bullfrog, I bet. Okay. And then I worked there that was 2001 then, because I worked there for like 9 years, and I left there to go to Roberto Venn in 2010.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go to Roberto Venn's. Were you like a crafty kid? I mean, did you like do woodworking in that, or was that something that you did as a kid? Or?
When I was little, my dad was always making stuff in a wood shop. My mom would paint them. They would sell these like crafts, and I was like sweeping up I was collecting wood dust and like the wood scraps. I was definitely into it. And it was funny because I was like asthmatic for like really bad asthma when I was a kid, and they were like, you can't be playing with wood dust.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, so.
Built your immunity or something.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah. I just ran it out with soccer then after that. But so I was definitely into stuff. I liked making stuff with clay. I loved art class.
Okay.
I liked taking watches apart and putting them back together. Playing, I was always I was a tinkerer. I liked fixing things. Still to this day, man. Like if something's broken, just get out of my way. Let me play and figure it out and come up with a cool engineering, resolution to to this problem. MacGyver was my favorite TV show.
Oh, okay.
So I think that had a lot to do with it.
So you have a Leatherman?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I have a Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
And then Leathermans, yeah.
And
I have one in the car. I have one in my guitar case, multi-tools everywhere.
So early 2000s at the Bullfrog, and what prompted you to go to luthier school? What was?
So I graduated college, and music. I didn't get to go for music
because you said you wanted to go to Berkeley.
I wanted to go to Berkeley. Yeah. I wanted to just do the dream and do music and, be a rock star, just learn everything about it. I just identified as that, but I think a little bit of the real world, no, you got to get a business degree.
Yeah.
Trust me, you'll save money. Yeah. And it's I guess I don't have the insane student debt that I should,
Yeah.
But who knows where I'd be if I would have done that.
I was going to say, I hate regret.
It's hard.
Do you man? Part of me wish I would have gone to Berkeley.
I think I have these healthy reflections on what could have been, but also acceptance of what's happened, and there's all these different reasons, different things at play, But I remember I was bartending, and I think I was starting to get a little tired of the customer is always right. All the personalities behind a bar, some of the, I think I just wanted, I swear I had this one day where I was like, man, I need a change and I need to learn something new to do it. I never got to do the music thing. So I want to look at music school. And so I started looking at music schools and
traditional music, music school.
Yeah, I'm thinking nope. I'm thinking a 4-year music degree. Maybe it's not Berkeley because that's expensive. What else is there? I'm like, well, I already have a bachelor's. I mean, I was like, MI, Musicians Institute, has a 2-year associate's degree. And it's very focused. It was 1 year of guitar performance theory. And the second year would be split between 2 electives, which what I was looking at was sound engineering. And I saw the words guitar fabrication. And I was like, ooh. I mean, right then it was just ding. And I was like, all right. Guitar fabrication. Let me look at what they're making at this school. And so I'm looking at their guitars. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I'm like, all right, but if I want to do guitar making, what other schools, who's the best school that does that? And I looked that up, and it was pretty clear that the longest standing, luthier school was Roberto Venn out in Phoenix, all the way out in Phoenix, Arizona. And I think MI was kind of intimidating because they were like, yeah, it's a 2-year bachelor's degree. Go find an apartment in Hollywood, California on your own. Yeah. There's no dorms. There was no, I was like, man, I got to figure that part out.
Wow.
It's a little intimidating. And I remember Bonnie Raitt and Taj Mahal were doing their residency in town for a bit to set off their Bontage tour. So I got to ask some of those guys about it. And just eventually I think pretty quickly I was like, the guitar thing that'd be really cool. And then I was looking at all my gear. I'm like, oh, I got this not hand wired Fender amp with my Fender guitar that the corporate accountants deem the tonal range of products on the market. And I was like, man, I'm really trapped within whatever they're selling are my tools to express myself creatively through music. Okay. So I was like, man. And then I looked online at the guitars that those guys made. And I was like, William Eaton was making harp guitars, 180 strings, multiple necks, these crazy things where I was like, all right, I'll never be able to make that. So I want to go learn from that guy.
Cool.
I want to learn from someone who I just will never.
Yeah.
I like that clear distinction between me and my teacher.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just figured that was my. So then I went down that path and was off to Roberto.
So headed off to Arizona. Let's because that'll be a nice segue into the next segment, and also a nice segue into the next segment is one of my favorite songs of yours off of. Originally off of Karma, but you re-recorded it live up at Temperamental Studios, right? Guitar Man, and I just love that song. It's a fun song, but it really kind of speaks to who you are.
Well, I think after I learned how to make guitars and developed that knowledge, and was the musician, the guitar player that I was like, hey, like I guess I was like, I'm a full guitar guy. I'm a full guitar man. I make them, I play them, and I fix them if someone breaks them. You know. Yeah. So I just was honing. I was more of an expert on guitar in a different way.
But there's a line in that song, and I'm gonna murder the line. It's like, I'm always improving, or what's the line in that song that's like,
it's so funny too, because
I stumped the band.
Well, I haven't played it in so long.
And I'm trying to play the song now in my head now that I've got myself into this corner.
There's like, I don't need fame, just a little more fortune. I don't need the whole world to listen, just a nice small portion. Right. Yeah. There was like, I was crafting songs at that point about like these things. But it's like, I'll just keep doing my thing, chasing my dream to be a guitar.
I just love that song. But we kicked the podcast off with Sedona. Now, was that written out there? Was that
So Sedona? When I went to that school, it was like 50 hours a week in class in a workshop. It's not like you're not doing 12 course credits a week. It was intense. Yeah. And so I think when I went out there, I was like, I'm an awesome bartender. I'm a guitar slinger. I'm going to go into the city of Phoenix, Arizona, and just, boom, I'm going to be able to work to pay for things. I'm going to be able to do some gigs. I mean, I'd be in the shower washing the ebony dust off me just after working in an open air shop in Phoenix, Arizona in August. I was like dead, And so I realized that I was like, man, I'm just going to need to do something cool on the weekends. And I think all the students there like realized that. And my like sort of group of buddies that I made there, we were like, hey, let's go camping this weekend. That's really cheap. Like, who has cars? Let's all pile in the cars. And what's an hour and a half away from Phoenix, Arizona? Sedona, Arizona. Like one of the most beautiful places on the world. Everyone knows that. And so we went up there, and I just remember driving into it. Like, the desert's really cool. I'm obsessed with it. And the color scheme. But then, like, when you're coming around and you see between these two mountains, there's this orange red that is just, it's like someone took the saturation on a photo app editing thing and just cranked it. Wow. And so I got there. It didn't look real. It looks like, how fake, like, Western backdrops look? That's what it actually looks like out there. So I was questioning whether those were backdrops or if it's just this haze, this mystical like thing here. And I had like, they talked about, this is where I'll get a little woo woo, and I'm not usually. And I've thought about it ever since that day, but I went hiking sober on Bell Rock. I had a buddy with me. We stopped to catch a breath because he was trying to be tough and he didn't have a torn Achilles that he was like recovering from. So I stopped with him. So we were not hot, we were not stoned, we were not anything. And we get up and walk around, and this just pulsing energy field or something crazy. Like, and I remember them, we stopped at the visitor center, like, oh, you'll see little spots and you'll feel like, I'm like, oh yeah, just put it right in my head. Like, oh, guys, like, come on. This isn't real. This is just marketing and hippies and, yoga, new age music guys. And, all I can say is I was baffled by an experience I had there. I felt like something turned on. Shot up to space. I was like in the middle of this beam. I was frozen. And it was just a life-changing, like, moment, maybe spiritually. And just like, I knew I didn't have the answers to this earth, but now I'm really wondering about some stuff. So, but I had to write about that that experience, that relationship I built with Sedona, and that line of the song, like, Sedona, she spoke to me. And so, and I remember telling my dad and brother, like, yeah, I felt a vortex. And they're like, what? I'm like, I know, guys. Trust me, I know, but it's real. Yeah. You have to also trust me that I have no reason to make this up. My buddy Gavin was with me. We still talk about it to this day. Cool. You know, we have this bond. It was like we were abducted by aliens together. You know, we have this weird bond that no one's like, hey, we know.
Yeah.
But so I was just taken by the colors of that place, the drive, the vibe of the desert. I really wanted that song to feel like you're in the desert.
Well, you did capture it. I mean, that song, there's a spiritual aspect to that song, and the words kind of speak to that experience. I mean, as much as you can quantify that to somebody else. I mean, it's, you know. So,
yeah, and I try not to even be too on the nose. Like, I felt a vortex. Vortex is a real energy. Like, you know, the third eye. Like, I didn't want to, you know, force that on people, but I wanted to let them know how beautiful that place was.
Yeah. All right.
And just this, like, weird feeling. I had, like, this, like, almost anxious feeling in my chest the whole time.
Wow.
I was overwhelmed by it, you know? Yeah. So I just wanted to... And what's neat is when I wrote that song, I was, like, kind of going back there in my head. I was looking at pictures. I'm just trying to be there again when I'm back in Pennsylvania, missing the desert.
Sure.
So I wrote a nice little tribute to that place. I still love to play that song.
It's a good song. Yeah,
I love it.
But we're gonna play Guitar Man. I was like Guitar Man. But this is live up at Temperamental Studios where you're doing the looping stuff. We're gonna talk about that in this next segment. But for now, Sean Farley, Guitar Man, here on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a little moody here.
Guitar Man, Sean Farley, trying to advance. Yes, and that was the line that we were trying to think of, and then we had to listen to the song. But that's you, man. I mean, for as long as I've known you until now, you've you've improved, you advance, you kind of push yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm always driven to do that, and I don't know, it feels like a responsibility to do that to like myself, to others, and just I don't know, just competitive.
Yeah.
Like constantly competing with myself.
You've always struck me as a competitive person too.
Yeah, I try not to be an unhealthy competitive person, but like I can take some punishment to get better and keep coming back.
But I don't think you could have reached, where you're at with the luthier, with guitar playing, with your business, with the other things that you do in your life without having that healthy competitive spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And they're all competitive things. And man, it's like, I think, it's like, I can humbly say like guitar is one of the hardest things there is to do. Mm-hmm. Music works the brain, both sides in ways that rocket science doesn't, and then I think making guitars is probably one of the highest levels of like woodworking. It's like, I don't claim to be able to construct a house or build furniture, but I mean, I wouldn't be useless in those environments. Yeah. And my joints will be tighter than yours. Like I can inlay. Like,
that's true.
I can work a router like a scalpel.
Yeah.
So
So luthier school. I mean, how long was that?
So I was out there about a year. It was a 6-month endeavor in class. I moved out ahead of time and then stuck around a little bit before I came back. Okay. But it was 6 months, like 1,000 hours, just intense. I mean, it felt longer than that, but
so that's. That 6 months to learn how to, I mean, was it primarily focused on making, repairing, or both?
Well, so it was like in that order, actually. So you would make a guitar, you're making every part of a guitar, and you butt it up to the next thing in a way that functions properly. So you're forward engineering this instrument, and now you have this completed thing. If something went wrong with it, you would be able to, in theory, back engineer and know where the problem comes from. You'd know what the truss rod does when you install one, and you know what I mean. So like their whole philosophy was, you're going to build an acoustic guitar, you're going to build an electric guitar, and once we've done that, we're going to spend some time on repair, and then there's like a list of repairs that like it's almost like there's a list of repairs, how long it should take you, what it should cost. They arm you with that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But there's so many classics: fretwork, bone nut, bone saddle, like replacing tuners, wiring modifications, like finish work, repair.
6 months.
6 months. It was intense, Michael. It was, like I said, I told you, like Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday, I remember we would like just be like heat exhausted and like beaten down from making mistakes on power tools. Yeah. And like, everyone was just like, we would meet at my place or one of the other student houses and have a couple beers and just lament on how hard that week was.
How many students were in your class?
35.
35.
So they'll do, I think the max they would do is like 70 a year.
Okay.
So they do 2 sessions. And there were 35. We were a full class. And I remember too, I was lucky because I was in like a class, and I hope I was part of this, but like, I think I was. It was a really good group of guys, and the teachers would say multiple times, like, "Man, you guys are giving us hope again." I think they had like a lull in like attendance or talent or enthusiasm that like the group that I was with brought like back that year.
Okay.
And so it was a really exciting year. And like, you're surrounded by like these guys with all these cool ideas. I really had ideas of what I wanted to make for myself, instruments for me to use. But I was inspired by every guitar. I mean, they're really, even like the laziest person there made like 2 cool guitars. Like they wouldn't let you not, like there was this funny thing. They're like when people would start slacking, they're like, hey, you're paying for this. There's no refunds.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll kick you out if you're not making us proud, because we're going to put pictures of your work that we taught you to do online, and nothing is going to suck on our website. And if you don't take pride in this and you string it up, I'm going to run it through. They're going to run it through a bandsaw at string tension. They would tell you, like, we have a bandsaw that will cut this thing right in half, metal and all. We're not worried about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to dull this blade. So they were, and it was funny because it wasn't like your professors. It was like, these are like hard ass talented guys. That was funny at the end. You'd see the one guy, like I had to chase him because he like, you know, he didn't want us to see him like tearing up because he was like a tough teddy bear.
Yeah.
But you know, they were the best. They were the best. And it was necessary because like you're out there with, there's a bunch of people like, what's a router? Okay.
Yeah.
10 people working a router for the first time, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
Or working these power tools. It was dangerous.
Every level of experience coming into this. I mean, you had people that were...
We had a high school girl and like a terminally ill 75-year-old guy and everything in between. I was 27, I think, when I went out there. You know? So yeah, it was like after high school, after college, midlife crisis, before I die, everything, you know?
Did everybody play guitar?
Not even everyone played guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, most people did.
Yeah.
But there was like a person who they were local, I think. So they were like, "Oh, this sounds cool."
Yeah.
Mom was probably like, "Got to do something." Like, "Oh, I don't want to go to regular school." Oh, this looks cool. It's down the street. But certainly most people there were like, you know, you got to be pretty interested to take that next step.
And what year is this? I don't think we've established.
2010.
2010. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I was the fall of 2010 class. So that started like in the summer and in the spring we graduated.
So you had only been out of Luthier school for 2 years when I met you, and you had the shop in Williamsport.
I came back and opened it up. I mean, I was in Arizona, like calling Matt Shower, who was making like the coolest apartments downtown. I was like, I wonder what it would cost. We were like in like the business part of class, which I was like, all right, like I understand this better. They're trying to like
back the truck up. So not only are you making guitars and learning that whole process, but they're giving you acumen into the business of it as well.
Yeah, like so how would you open a shop?
Okay. Yeah, I guess you.
So don't like they had this lesson like, hey, I opened like the one guy opened up a small guitar shop next to a guy who was opening up a restaurant, and he was using the comparison of like this guy had to buy like $200,000 out of pocket like for just the commercial kitchen stuff, tables, chairs. He was so upside down and stressed. He's like, take out like get a $2,000 Sears card, go get a bandsaw, go get a disc sander. Go get a couple things, start doing repairs. You're not a guitar maker yet. Don't do that. You're not going to jump into this fancy wood shop. Build your way up, slow and steady. So they were like giving really like conservative small business startup advice. Okay. So there was a level of that, you know. But I was like, I know people. I'm going to find out. And then, you know, he was like, oh, man, I got a space. I'll custom build you a shop in the next 4 months while you're still out there. So I moved back, and I think I stayed with friends for maybe a month or so, crashed on a couch until my shop / little apartment in the city was like done.
Yeah, you lived in the back at the time.
It was a very unique thing. I mean, my shower was open air in the kitchen. And if I would have loved, there were 2 doors that went right out to 4th Street. Yeah. So if you opened those 2 doors and I took a shower, it would just, you know, the cops would be knocking.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was only like 2 years that you had been in the shop. Wow.
Yeah, I knew I was like, I'm going to go back and open up a cool little shop. That'll be my day job that I'll love. And then I'll go play at night. I'll be in control. I'll be autonomous and, you know, I'll be in my shop. I'll be engaging with musicians. I'll have guitars in my hands every day. You know, you pick up a guitar and you're like, ooh, go to this chord. Or, oh, I wrote a song. As soon as I grab that guitar, I was like, I'm going to have so many people's guitars in my hands, you know, so this will be really good. And I'll like, slowly I'll do the repair thing. I have my custom builds and I'll wait a little bit. And I remember when I got the other half of that shop, it became open.
Right. Because you had the big tools next door to it. That's right.
So I was like, ooh, when that came open, I made a deal with my landlord, you know, to like knock a doorway between the two and make I had 2 little apartments then. Yeah. Because that had barely an apartment in the back. Okay. So I joked I had my breakfast kitchen on the one side, and they were just like these little cool kitchens. But so I did that little process. Yeah.
How long were you in that shop?
I was down there from 2011 to September of 2019.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Right before COVID.
Well, I bought this. Yeah. So,
remember.
for those of you listening, we're sitting in my new shop, which I saw this like fixer-upper building. I wanted to not be renting where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I don't know. I felt like I needed another move at that point. I needed to expand something. I needed to change the economy of it by like renting downtown versus buying something and owning it and building equity.
Yeah.
And I was looking around. It was pretty impulsive. I kind of had my back against the wall in various ways. And so when that happens, man,
Yeah.
I just like shift into a real quick mode. And I saw this place listed and I went to the bank. And it was funny because I went down to Woodlands, who I go,
Yeah.
I used to get to go see Bonnie and the ladies there every day. But I was like, you know what? I probably don't have myself together on paper enough to buy a building. But this is a cheap building. The mortgage would be less than what I pay in rent. And I have a business that's established. And like just on that, I was ready for them to be like, oh, your credit score's not good enough, Sean. But I pay like double the mortgage in rent to this guy. How about I give you an easier payment?
Right.
Like, do you want the money or should I keep giving it to him? And I was like, this is as a man who doesn't really care to be that organized financially and stuff. I don't value that stuff. I do more now, but I didn't care. And so I was like, all right, I might go eat some humble pie here. Yeah. If I'm going to do that, I trust the fine folks at Woodlands Bank to tell me this. I can take it from Sue, from Susan. I can take it from Susan. So I went there and asked.
Talking about Sue Bloom, who worked down it. Yeah.
So I was like, I can. She's nice. I can take it.
Yeah.
So I went down there and I sat in front of her and I told her that I want to buy this building and move the shop and I want to live. This shop was perfect. It had like a big space down below that was like a kitchen / general store / like sub shop. So it's already zoned in some way, I'm assuming. And then there's an apartment above. And so I'm going to like just take my model and make it a little bigger and then have ownership and build equity. And I remember she like called the commercial loan officer and she was like, yeah, I have a guy. He wants to open a guitar shop. Yes, it is Sean Farley. Yeah, he's right here. So I was like, I didn't think this would help me in a bank,
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's such a small town bank. And the guy who handled me as a he's a music enthusiast. He like knew who I was. And I just laid it out to him and I was like, hey man, I know, I don't have any like bad debt. I'm not any too bad here, but like the bottom line is I pay this every month for 9 years. I could pay less to you. Yeah. And start building, Yeah. So that's how I got this shop. And it was Friday 13th of 2019. I got this shop. And then I just, there was so much work to do here.
Oh, I remember.
It was intense. Didn't you help move?
I helped you move,
You helped move the equipment with Al Faust, another one of my friends. And, but yeah, the top customers / friends, stepped up and helped move the shop over here. And I remember I just worked my ass off. We got a concert in here, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to host concerts here. I'm going to get my friends coming through town. They can crash upstairs with me, and I can bring it to the community. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, now I got to go on tour. And I went on tour in the beginning of 2020. And about halfway,
you came home early from that. Too.
About less than halfway through the tour,
right.
I had to come back and figured I was going to be boarding up and like protecting the building from like the end of the world.
The zombies
during COVID. But then it was nice because I had this my own little world, and it was a more financially feasible thing. It was more isolated. It wasn't downtown, but man, I remember driving downtown every once in a while, like spooky when that was all just shut down. So I was very glad. I mean, it was interesting timing. I just felt I had to get out of there. I had no idea that was coming. I had nothing to do with COVID. But I got out of there and then into this, and, it was such a better thing.
Yeah. I mean, so...
It derailed a lot of stuff, I will say.
No. But I mean, you kind of weathered it pretty well because you were doing a lot of online concerts. Like you were doing your own online stuff at the time. I remember you and Stacia did a couple.
Yeah,
of things.
and we did it 6 feet apart. We called it that. I even had a picture of a measuring tape. Between mics because hey guys, Because, I mean, it was a lot of optics in the beginning of that. Like, and I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, I'm going to play nice. I'll err on the side of caution through this whole thing.
Exactly.
And I don't want to look back on something and regret it. Maybe I'll feel a little silly, or I'd rather be overcautious in hindsight than killed somebody. That's at least what I was thinking at the time. But when I was coming back from my tour, which, I watched like them start sanitizing the gondolas. I was doing a residency gig in Telluride, and I had to like put snowboard stuff on and hop in the gondola with my guitar from one place up to the next. Hop on these things, go up to the gig and snowboard into the gig with my guitar. And every day, like, it was fine. It was normal.
Yeah.
I don't have a TV in my room. I'm not really engaged with the world. I'm up in the mountains and living life. And then
Snowboarding to concert.
and then like one day they're like spraying it down with like a cleaner, and the guy has a mask. And then the next thing, the guy's a hazmat suit on. He's spraying this thing down. And then like the gig we're supposed to do up for this big party, they're like, this is going to be the last party. Like, so we didn't know really what was going on. We were the last gig in Telluride at like the whole mountain village for who knows. And I continued on for a little bit because I just had no idea. And then I had to come home, and on my way home, I'm driving back across the country. I remember I was so spooked, like the first gas pump I got in like West Texas, like East New Mexico is like, oh man, I can never look at a gas handle the same. I was like, oh no, now I'm a germaphobe, But I was coming back through, and I saw like everyone jumping to setting their phone down and playing, and like for tips and putting a PayPal link and a Venmo tip, and they were like digitally busking, and I was like, I might have to do this. I don't want to beg for money, but like if I put on a show and people have nowhere to go, like. But I remember hearing like that echoey cell phone video quality, and I was like, man, I want more.
Yeah.
I was like, the video quality on the other side of this phone is 4K.
Yeah.
How do I get a mix out of my soundboard into the phone and do this? So then, like, I went down this rabbit hole of like,
I remember that
adapters,
and
all these adapters, I was obsessed. But see, here was like the problem, and I want to fix it, and I want it to be really good. And I was like, I'm going to sync live video with studio quality mixes, and I'm going to go live, and I'm going to put up a Venmo link. And I worked with a friend, Dave Whitnack, who was the tech director over the Community Arts Center, and it was this perfect timing because he was George Winston's manager.
I didn't know that. Oh wow.
He's like, I mean, they were like best friends. He was he's his George Winston's right hand man. And for those of you who don't know, George Winston was like a very famous piano player, world class, very famous. What was the Wyndham Hill? He was part of the Wyndham Hill, like the Wyndham Hill gang. So at the same time, Dave is trying to figure out how to live stream concerts of George on some level, and I've already started doing this, and so we decided to hit each other up, put our heads together and work together. So I remember I did my first show, and I had like Dave had like 3 cameras, and my first show was for George Winston on the other end on a private YouTube link, showing him how this is going to work. So I was like the test dummy for that, and then I was like, all right, let's go live this next weekend. And I advertised it, and I had this engineer with me, and like it sounded really good. He's checking all that. He's doing different camera angles, and I'm just sitting down here with a drink, playing my butt off in the weirdest time ever. Put some digital tip jars out there, and I just set them up because that was the thing out west. Like people don't have cash, and you're playing at Ski Village. Make sure you print out a thing with a QR code for Venmo and Cash App and PayPal so that people can get their phone, give you a digital tip as they walk by.
And this was pre-COVID that they were doing.
It was right before COVID. Well, and it was like, again, no one was doing that around here, but out in Colorado, I would always go out to this more progressive music area and catch the early trends and then try to bring them back. So I just set all that up and had like a poster. You could like, if you pointed your phone at it, you can give me money in various ways. So I already had those things, and it kind of all came together in that way. And I started doing digital home shows. And I remember the first time, man, I made a bunch of money that first show because people were like, thank you, and like, I'm worried about you, and you got to support artists. And there was a whole renaissance of that. And then I started being able to bring some friends down here for those shows as, you know, we sort of created a little safe bubble, and we took some risk, I guess, but we're like, hey, we can hang out. Right. Just don't hang out with anybody else. Right. If you don't feel good, let me know. So we did that here. So this place turned in, I wanted to do concerts here. And then it actually became like, you know, end of the world live streaming, you know, like cutting edge live streaming studio.
Right. The apocalypse will be televised from Guitar Lease.
And, you know, that later turned into, with the Uptown Collective, I recorded those kids one-on-one in a safe way so that they could do a music videos a couple Christmases ago. Okay. But, you know, so it turned into stuff like that. And you know, would like to, I was thinking about doing some live stream concerts this winter. Yeah. Up at my new studio.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we've got you to the new place. Let's go back to your album Karma, because, like I said, I have a soft spot in my heart for that, or, you know, fondness in my heart for that, because you're the first person I've like, you know, oh man, that's the guy that wrote, you know, that's, and I know him. You know, I know the guy that's on this album. Where did you record that? Was that your first? I mean, it wasn't your first recording. Was that like your first like serious?
That was my first solo thing. I make all these guitars. I have these 3 guitars that I made. They're all unique. I want to record with them. I now have like an acoustic for the first time in my life, so I'm doing the singer-songwriter thing. It's this evolution moment for me being a solo artist. And so I went to Green Valley Studios, which I had done the 8 Hours Wide album and a Black and Blues album, and actually a Lynn and Farley 5 album right before I moved. Oh, okay. So that was the place to go around here. And so I went there, and it was like, okay, it's me, these 3 guitars. I've just did this huge, like this crazy chapter of my life that's just epic, made me craft a bunch of songs, and I'm going to do a full-length album there. Just me, my guitars. I did have a couple collaborators come in. One of my buddies, Joe Novelli, played like lap steel stuff on... I think actually he was on Your Smile. I don't know if he was on Sedona. He was on Sedona. Okay.
I know there's a lap steel on that.
It's like he's got to be on Sedona. Yeah. That's the place for the lap steel.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, so I did that album there. It's funny. I think we were talking before. I was like, I look back on that album as I do every album, you know, as like, ugh, I could have done that better. But I think then I listened to it again. I remember Your Smile, or no, Chase Your Dreams popped up in my car on random. Oh, yeah. And I forgot it was me, and I was like, boy, that's a pretty melody, you know? And I was like, oh, shit, this is me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, funny.
So I was like, okay, maybe, all right, give yourself a break. Like, you did some cool work there as a younger man. Yeah. I was raspier, you know, I was pushing my voice too much. I was like, I don't know if it's some angst or whatever, but part of the process. But that has some good songwriting on it. It's like... in the time capsule or on the timeline, it's post Roberto Venn, new Sean with his guitars now, and like this really cool life-changing experience to write about.
Yeah, wow. I think we're going to do a song going into the third and last segment. I'm Going, and that's from Raise the Grain. Yeah. So. Talk a little bit about that one, because I remember when you released that, you had the big party up at the Community Arts Center. Yeah,
and actually, I'm Going. I wrote that as like the final push to move to Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So that was my self mantra to like, because I got rid of everything, and I moved away from town for the first time, and I moved far away. Wow. So it was just the things that I could fit in my car and U-Haul. I didn't have a storage unit. Like, I used it as a purge moment, you know? But I was driving across the country. It's so exciting. I'm just taking pictures out my sunroof of just everything. Yeah, you know, there's no composition. There's no art to them. I'm just like, oh my God, look at that. Whoa, windmills, you know, like, so there's just
it's a parking lot.
A tornado, you know, I'm like in Iowa, I'm taking pictures from my car in the highway. I have like a full on like DSLR out the sunroof. But once you get to like Colorado and you see the Rockies form, and then you're driving through that and New Mexico into Arizona. I mean, the shift of landscape just blew my mind. Yeah. And so that song was a mantra to I'm going.
Yeah.
Don't try to stop me now. You know, like I got to find my way somehow. It was this self-encouragement. It was about being nervous about moving and making this big change in life, going back to school. Like, but then it's also like it's illustrated, I think, you know, it's the thought process is the verse and the chorus and all that. And then I do this sort of solo thing. It doesn't translate so much in that recording, but when I'm doing my live thing, I start doing this and I start harmonizing it, and I'm looping and I'm making these big, huge, like the song gets really big at the end, you know, and then I'm just tagging the I'm going and taking a solo. Yeah. But that was always to signify being in the Rockies in the desert and that huge shift, you know, so it was like I'm there. It's this big payoff. It's this grand view. Yeah. And, yeah, that's still one of my favorite songs to play. Yeah,
it's we played a couple times in the radio show, and you know, my significant other, it's her favorite song. So if we do this, and we don't put I'm going in there,
you'll get in trouble.
I will get in trouble.
Well,
so
I don't want that, my friend.
Neither do I. So this is Sean Farley from his album Raising the Grain. I'm going here on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
It's up to me.
I'm going. That is a great song. just
Thanks.
boom, it's a great song.
Thank you. I still enjoy playing it. You
Yeah.
know, it's still like one of those like set enders for me.
Yeah. Because you build that. I mean, you build that song out when you play it live, right?
Yep, it gets big. It has, like I said, that like emulation of going through the mountains out west, you know.
So we've got you into the new place, and then COVID hits. We get through COVID, and you kind of get yourself through COVID. What else were you doing besides the live feeds and the live concerts and you know the stuff that you did during COVID? What else were you doing?
Well,
because you were here living upstairs. Right?
Yeah, I lived upstairs. I'd come down here. I mean, I was making kazoos. I was.
That's right.
You know, fixing some guitar. Oh yeah, there's all kinds.
I still got mine, man.
All kinds of weird stuff happened during COVID. But you know, I was basically in this little world here that was, you know, keeping myself busy, trying to make the best. I think I was trying to make the best of everything. I remember seeing like the first restaurant that used like shower curtains around a table. I was like, good for you. Yeah. Like I know this is hard and impossible, but way to outthink it.
Right.
And figure something out. So I think that's what I was trying to do with the live streams. We did a bunch of those. Yeah. You know, and incorporated a bunch of people with that. And then I think that set me on like a journey. I'm playing with that sound equipment, you know, I'm doing some post-production stuff. I'm like, so I started, and I think
now, had you done that before? I mean, because the Karma, the Live, Raising Grain, had you done that before?
So Karma, I just had the guitars and some song ideas, you know, and I wasn't even ready to like take the ownership of production. I was kind of like, no, I don't like the sound of that. All right, that sounds better. But looking back, I'm like, oh, I know way more about this now. I want to re-record these songs.
Sure.
So, but then I did the Raising the Grain album with Mike Brown. I'd done a bunch of projects up at this I ran into this guy who had this crazy studio, and it was a cool chapter of like working in these really cool studios. I learned a lot from him because I mean, I was up there with, you know, doing stuff with my friend Simeon. I was up there doing stuff with Stacia. I was like taking like Moxie Rebel. I was like, you guys got to come up and see this, you know? Yeah. I wanted everyone to go through
the pictures of this place. It looks eclectic, I think would be the word I would.
It was a church. It was like a country, like with box
all kinds of
church.
Stuff up on the walls.
Yeah, he had taxidermy, like the weirdest taxidermy and old creepy pictures and boats and flags and kids' toys. But I mean, every instrument you could possibly, it was a museum of instruments. I mean, if you were like, oh, I had that pre-war Martin Dreadnought sound. Oh, I have 3 of them over here. One of them belongs to, you know, David Byrne or something. You know, he left it here. His brother left it here. So, I mean, that was like, I learned a lot about production. I was always relying on other people. Now, I'm pretty good with my sound equipment and my soundboard, but I took the time during COVID to like watch a bunch of YouTube videos about how to work Logic Pro. Okay. So I started trying to drown all the frustrations of the world out with cool color changing LED lights in my apartment, you know, certain mind altering, healthy levels of mind altering substances, you know, and I just started like building beats in Logic. Okay. And I'd also been influenced by, I discovered lo-fi music. You can just put lo-fi music on. Okay. And it's just these cool, like, sort of hip-hop beats with, like, jazz samples. Very much like hip-hop samples minus the rap. Yeah. But there was something just simple and, like, vibey and, like, cool. It could be background in a cool club. You know, it's class too, but you could also, it wasn't distracting. You could have it in the background while you study. Yeah, okay. So I was like there was just all these things coming together. And so I started making these like instrumental beats and learning how to mix and like learning how to like work all the different, you know, just all the complexities of digital recording software. But it's also more accessible now than it ever was. Right. You have a MacBook. I got one of those little MIDI keyboards and I think I did a setup for someone who had a PreSonus like audio interface. And I was like, and I remember during COVID, I was like, man, like I'm like stripped down to live streams and like my place and like I can't go out. And it's like what if it got worse? Like how could I make an album off the grid?
Yeah.
Like it became an exercise in minimalism.
Okay.
I was like, I'm just going to plug my guitar straight into the computer and not use my tube amp. Like, blasphemy.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, they kind of sound good now. I want to see if I can make this sound believable to me. Tube emulators like have gotten better.
Oh my gosh.
You still get made fun of probably, but like they've gotten better. Yeah. These like Kemper amps, like all of a sudden in the last couple of years, like you still can't get a saxophone or a flute.
Yeah.
They still sound like an 80s
Casio,
Yamaha keyboard.
Yeah,
they still sound terrible.
Yeah.
But string patches. So, but I was like, you know what? And like your little, your Pelican case here, I got one of those and I cut it to hold this little 25 key MIDI thing, the audio interface, an XLR, instrument cable, a set of headphones, the USB and the laptop, close it up. I could make an album on this. Yeah. And so I wanted to like limit what I had to work with, knowing that it's a pretty dense little opportunity now with all the technology just kind of got us there. Yeah. So I started making just beats and working on stuff and like trying different things, and it would lead me down a totally different sounding song. Yeah. And I started sharing them with people. And before I knew it, I had like 7 of these things, and I had a couple more ideas to go. And I was like, man, I think I have an album. So it didn't start that way, but I was like, all right, well, now that I'm close, let me like zoom out and let me start crafting this a little better. And I basically made a 10-track album of almost completely instrumental music, totally different from what I was doing. One of them is very synthy. I was watching Stranger Things. Okay. Yeah. And so like I think just what I was doing was influencing each one of these things. It was flavoring it. Yeah. There's some sad stuff on there because I had gone through a big breakup, the world, where you're isolating a bit. It was a big like emotional thing to get through. And so I used this to navigate my way through that. And like I said, it was mostly like drowning things out with color and sound. Yeah. And I didn't want to sing about it. I didn't want to like tell people how they should be thinking through a pandemic. Yeah. So, but I decided I was going to do this album, and I'm hanging out with my good friend Stacia. Yeah. And I'm like excited to play these songs for her, and I play them, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds really cool. Like, are you going to?" And then she was like, "So are you going to sing to this?" And I was like, "Nope, I don't want to talk about it." And I was like, "Boom, there's the album." Yeah. And I was like, "Cool, I have a whole concept now."
Yeah. Thanks to. So can we hear something? I mean, is it ready for prime time, or can we hear something from it now?
So that album I put out just digitally, very low key into streaming services. I guess it's been 2 or 3 years now, so it's out there. Okay. I just never really got to push it. It was in a weird time where like you couldn't do a CD release party. Yeah. And even if it was a CD release party, it was funny when I was done. I was like, I can't play these live. This is like this very interesting time capsule. It's just from then. And I remember I actually had Tim Breon help me like do the final mastering. And I was like, oh, look at what I did and tell me if it just looks glaringly wrong. Like if all my settings were bad. I wanted to learn something from like a master like him. Yeah. And so he went through and he was like, that's very cool. And I remember at one point there was like a note that needed fixed maybe. And he was like, do you want to punch that in? I was like, oh no, it's 2021. We can't. No, this is 2020. I remember being like, it's close the capsule. And even that was an exercise in letting go artistically.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, so there was something and you...
2020, like, and I collaborated with people via email, my friends out in Colorado. I got one of the best flute players you'd ever hear in your life do an awesome flute solo that he emailed me. He probably blew it into his iPhone and sent me 3, and then I mixed it in. Maybe, I don't know we haven't picked which song we're going to do, but, maybe it would be I Don't Want to Talk About It. The title track, it's the opener, it's a banger. Okay. And it's got my buddy Sam, from Colorado who did like a 6 or 7 part horn part. Oh my gosh. Emailed it to me and I dropped it in. So
Now
there
that
was-
you've intrigued us, I think we got to play that track. I mean,
yeah, I think that's a cool one because it also, I'll tell you, when you
Yeah.
hear in the beginning, it's like boom, 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 boom. It sounds like a party downstairs.
Okay.
I accidentally ran my drum beat. I switched there was like a drum beat there.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally was trying to add a keyboard track, and I changed that to a keyboard. So it ran this through a keyboard preset,
Okay.
and it made the weirdest sounding thing. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. So that became the intro. Like I think I learned so much during this like home recording process, and some of they're like beautiful mistakes. That's how things happen.
Yeah.
Art can be accidental.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's like a divine intervention, who knows? But like, I think learning to accept it, I've learned a lot to accept a lot of things during the process.
Yeah. Cool.
And, and now I look forward to recording more. And I think after we'll play this one, and I'll tell you how that leads to the next album. that's
Okay.
coming out.
All right. So we're going to not scripted here. We're just going to put this in. This is I don't want to talk about it from the title track from this album. Sean Farley here on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. I don't want to talk about it. And when you were telling me about the, kind of working by yourself during the whole COVID thing, I'm thinking of McCartney back when the Beatles breaks up, and he's plugging, he's not going through amps or anything, he's plugging right into to an old 4-track Studer, and making his first solo album. So I'm kind of channeling some McCartney stuff going on.
Yeah,
where you're plugging right into the
Yeah, I feel like it was a modern version of that. I'm like plugging the guitar, like this custom guitar I made that usually goes into just a hand-wired tube amp.
Yeah.
With the fanciest of things. I'm very purist about that kind of thing. But, I was like, well, I might not be lugging that thing around if I'm living off the grid. Like the one little case. I mean, you have your podcast.
Right.
Studio on the go.
Exactly.
Little case. I was like, I want a whole... I know I can't put Mike Brown's 200-year-old church into something like that. That's like a huge anchor, really.
Yeah.
But you can digitally nowadays, with a good ear, you can you can get away with some stuff.
Is there any limits to that though? Because I mean, you've got the old school guys. Oh gosh, you've got to go through the amp. You got that air, between the mic and the amp and all that. Do you foresee, or do you think there's any kind of limits to just going direct in digital?
I feel there's probably a very small percentage of people on the planet, none of which are listening to this, no offense, would be able to decipher how I did these guitar tones. I think I made them pretty believable for just a direct plug-in. I mean, I would play stuff for some friends who were... I got a friend who's very against this process.
Oh, wow.
I let him listen to it. I didn't lead the witness at all. I got him complimenting it, and then I started being like, oh, yeah, so what about the guitar? Oh, man, I mean, you can really hear the tubes flexing. Like, I got him. I just,
Oh, funny.
I didn't lead him down this road, but I encouraged him to go further.
Yeah.
And then I was like, gotcha. That was logic.
Yeah.
That's like, I just clicked on things until it sounded like that, and then I refined it. And he's like,
funny.
man, he's like, he's like, oh no, like the end of tube amps. I'm like, no, that will not be the end of tube amps.
No, but I mean, because there's a play. But that's the cool thing, I mean, because my experience is not quite as vast and long as yours. But I recorded down at Kimbo's, and just all live, into the mics from the amps and all that stuff. And when we did our project here this year, I'm thinking, I got to lug an amp down there. And they said, oh, no, we're going to plug right into the, to the DI, into the computer. I'm like, well, that's going to sound like crap. We go, no. And you're right. I mean, what did we... I did a lap steel on one of the songs, and he said, what kind of amp? He said, what kind of tone you want? I said, I want a Fender Twin. Just a little bit of... He goes in there as Luke Schellenberger down at Blackberry Alley, and he goes in and, damn,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, it's like there's some pretty advanced nerds working on this stuff, and it was funny too. Like I think like MIDI triggered drums, like like they're literally in like the best studio in Nashville or LA. The best studio drummer is just going to boom, 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 hit this drum. That actual drum, they're capturing it from every angle with all these mics. They clean up that file. And then if you push the middle C button on a MIDI keyboard, that guy hits that actual drum. And so it's like, whoa. Like, so if I have an electronic kit, which can be viewed as lame, but also it's a very valuable tool for, especially in the studio, you could literally play that drum set. You're not going to feel the heads.
Right.
It's not the same thing, but the recording process, it's not a synthesized thing. It's the actual drum. It's that actual, like, whatever famous drum set that is that everyone wishes they had. It is that in pristine shape in the best room with the best mics and the best engineer and the best guy hitting it. Like, it's that actual thing. And so you have to select it, and you're not the one playing the drum, but these things can sound real, and they can actually be real. And I think it's like with hip-hop sampling. I mean, people thought that wasn't art and music, but I'm like, I love it. It's incredible sounding, you know?
and what they do with it. I mean, if it was just, yeah.
Well, it's like, is someone just flinging paint on a canvas? That's not impressionism. It's not portraiture, but it's still, So I think you have to have an open mind with it. I think there's a lot it has to offer. Yeah. And I certainly don't want to be an old, grumpy, closed-minded guy about it. Yeah. So, and I was also forced into trying to accept it. It was what I had.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that made it easier. That made the pill easier to swallow.
Again, circling back to guitar, trying to advance, man. I mean, you're pushing yourself. So,
well, I turned it into a game too, and then it was fun. It was an actual challenge to use minimal things and try to make it pass for a guy who has sought a guitar amp and a guitar tone. And I was like, man, it's not perfect, but none of it is. You know?
Yeah. Before we wrap up, there's a couple of things I want to talk with you about, and one of them is, and I want to get your perspective on this, and I want you to, and I don't have to preface this, but I'm going to just for the audience. I want you to be honest with me. I really think that what we have here in Williamsport is something special with the music community. I mean, we have people like you. We have Alan Colmes. We have a plethora of talent. And if you want to pare it down to genres, I mean, we have metal, we have Celtic, we have singer-songwriter, we have blues. Do we have something special here? Is it something special, or is it just? I don't know. Am I reading too much into it? Because you have experience out on the West Coast, and you've already alluded to that already.
Yeah, no, I think there is something special. I think there's I always call it like a music density. Mm-hmm. Like per capita, there are a lot, like relatively to the area and the size and the culture and all the different, sort of city statistics. Like we have a lot of great musicians here. Yeah. And it's been that way for a long time. And maybe it's because like, I know some people have moved back here from cities, mm-hmm. And so maybe they bring the city stuff back here to somewhere that's better to raise a family, a little more affordable. It's pretty, it's well located. But I mean, I always thought that there was plenty of people for me to learn from here. Mm-hmm. And plenty of people better than me here and people to help get better here. And then I came back and invested in it, further with the shop. I knew mm-hmm. there was a market to serve. Yeah. And I think we do have something. There's something here. I have a friend who is a crazy music enthusiast, and he actually came here. He was working like during the gas boom, mm-hmm. super into good music, great taste in music, was always going out to see music. And he got to see, like, he would go see me play, see me and David Lynn play. He would see me and Stacia play. He'd come to my open mic nights. So he'd mm-hmm. see all these different people pop by. He'd go see Mallory Scopa and John Shively.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He would check out all these things. And I remember him saying, like, he's like, man, you guys got... And he was a water scientist. He's like, there is something in your water here. Mm-hmm. So he, like, literally attributed it, almost like in the Muscle Shoals documentary, The Singing River.
Yes.
He's you guys have some version of that here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I was in Montgomery, Alabama, and they actually had a I don't know, it was a Chamber of Commerce or somebody from Austin, Texas, come up to Montgomery to, because Montgomery wanted to be like Austin, Texas. And I still got friends down there, and they, said, my gosh, you guys are playing, and we don't play a lot, but he's like, you guys have places to play. He said, it's like we have to pay to play down here. And, I said, I don't know. I said, it's just really, and the other thing is to a person, I mean, there's some exceptions, but not many. We all kind of support each other up here, which I think I don't know if that's common in other areas like that.
I'm glad that it's something that we do here. And I've always tried to be a part of that because I think I realized that people gave me what I have and you got to give it back and be encouraging and all that.
Well, you've always been that way. I mean, as far as that, for me personally, but also I see you doing it with other people, is that you're very, I think I used the term with you one time. I said, well, you're like a mentor, and you corrected me. He said, no, I'm an encourager. He's like, you're right. You're an encourager. I mean,
I have a couple friends, one of my good friends, Brandy, who's just super talented. But she always like introduces me as like her musical mentor or musical sensei or something, she like, and I'm always slightly uncomfortable with with the credit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's definitely an honor and it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Like I didn't realize, I don't think I wasn't trying for that.
Yeah.
And so.
But I think that's why you do it so well, because I think if you had it's like, wow, I'm going to go back and, encourage people and be a mentor and that, you just do it.
Yeah, I never wanted to be like, oh, let me teach you.
That's right.
Because I think I resist that when someone like
sage
it's
advice.
like you better be real good now that you're like, gonna be my dad. It's like you better be able to beat me up and be way better. It's just hard. Like just some people I think you can tell when someone's doing it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think in hindsight, if it feels like I was helpful, like that's cool. I think it was an organic thing, and then people look back and like, oh, you really helped me out. It's like I'm humbly honored, and I think people helped me out too. Yeah. So I'm glad.
But you do a lot of work. You do a lot of work with the Uptown Music Collective too.
Yeah. I'm on the board for that.
That's right.
I'm on the board of directors. Ooh. I'm on some subcommittees.
Wow, man.
But that's a cool thing to be a part of, because I think that's one of the coolest things we have in this area. I mean, that as a metric of our music in this town. I mean, I just went and saw their 80s show.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it was like incredible. They're so good. Like, and I always say when I watch it, because I went to the Uptown Music Collective and it's earlier beginnings, like probably phase 2. I went there. Apparently there was lessons at Dave's house. I'm not that cool, but like then he got a studio space above where Acme Barbecue is now.
Okay.
And so that's when I started going, and like Seth Olinsky of Akron family is the one who told me I should go down there.
Oh wow.
He's like, you're pretty good, and you're also a little cocky. Have you met Dave Brumbaugh yet? So I had to go down there and have all my bad habits broken and just beaten out of me, and I would have no regrets with all that. But now to see what it's grown into, it is like, I mean, you hear about the School of Rock. I bet you the School of Rock is so lame on the inside compared to what the Uptown Collective actually is. Yeah. So I'm just really happy to be a part of that. And, definitely anything I can do to help them. It's, I only wish I could hop in a time machine and be like 17 or 18 or 16, whatever those kids are right now. They're all like high school. Mm-hmm. I would like to be that again and go through.
Oh there. Yeah.
I mean,
I've talked to a couple of the kids that, had graduated or going through. I said, do you guys realize how special this is? How great this thing is? I wish we would have had it when I was a kid growing up here. I mean, to a kid or to a person, they're like, oh yeah, we got it. We know this is.
Well, it's good. Multiple. I mean, I think they do 4 or 5, probably 4 huge shows a year. Yeah. With sometimes pyrotechnics, with crazy light show. The light show is incredible, and they work on that stuff. But it's at the Community Arts Center, and the whole place was full.
I know.
I mean, so this is like a serious level theater opportunity. Those kids are like literally rocking out. I mean, I couldn't imagine, like, I always think, I'm like, man, when they go to school on Monday, how cool are they? Yeah. Like when you think of the terrible like social pressures, it's like, if anyone, like, I would just have those videos on my Facebook. I'd be the coolest kid in the school.
Oh yeah.
But then they could just go to Berkeley and coast through that program. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool. But for you to, be a part of that and then get back to it again. I mean, it's just, I don't want this to, like, your head's not going to be able to get through the door, but I mean, that's, you went through it, now you get back to it, and it's like, the community as well. I mean, you do that. So I think that's so cool on your part.
It's weird that that's not just like the total norm that everyone does. And instead it's like, I don't know. I wish more people.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel special to me. It feels like what I should be doing. Right. And I guess compared to people who don't,
it's cool.
Crappier people make me look good, I guess. But it's like, I'm glad that I just, I don't know. I'm glad I have that opportunity. Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for what it's done for me.
So we're going to wrap things up here with a couple of the only canned questions we have here. So what's your current gigging rig setup that you have?
So most, I guess, I use I have Yamaha DXR like powered 10s
Okay.
for my mains and my monitor. I like the 10s. They're like 1,000 watts. They're powerful. They're crystal clear.
Yeah.
And I've been using these probably for like 8 or 9 years. Like they're tanks.
Yeah.
And I put them in nice cases and I take care of them. Yeah. But man, they've like really, they're probably not under warranty anymore. And I've never had to have them fixed.
Wow.
So, but I use those as mains. I use a subwoofer because with my live looping stuff on acoustic, I like to build beats and I need that. Like I was one of those dorks who wish subwoofers would have fit behind the seat of my like small cab truck, you know?
Yeah. So you could shake the windows.
I was tall and I even got like a custom one slim built, but I had to move the seat up, which I do not move seats up. So I was like, looked like a frog driving a standard truck. It was uncomfortable to get leg cramps, you know? But I love the subwoofer. So I like to have a little sub, you know, I don't want a big one because I'm also, my whole sound system fits like a small, perfectly built Lego construction in the back of my car. Yeah. So I have those powered mains, the subwoofer, little PreSonus board. I think a good board is, you know, pretty important. Yeah. I like, and you know, and then I have like my looping stuff. You know,
what looper do you use?
I use the Boomerang. I think it's,
that's okay. All right.
Yeah, and that's a new one. I did use the Ditto X2 for a long time, and I tried like tons of other stuff. It's funny as like a looper. I feel like most loopers were released too soon. I've never had any other guitar pedal have like glitches, but the looper does. And maybe it's because it's recording. But I would build these huge loops, layer them up, and then I go to stop and it would freeze. And so I just took you on like a 2-minute intro for no reason. You know, like being about to sing and I remember I'd get like anxiety about it. And if I was using it in like the blues competitions, I was like, this is what it's going to do. It's going to do it to me while I have 20 minutes in front of judges or an opening set for someone in front of a lot of people. I'm like, it's going to do it. You know, it used to always do it on I'm Going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
I got like weird about it. I was like, man, what is it about certain songs that it does this? But this new one that I'm using, the Boomerang's pretty.
Does it have all the features that the Ditto has? I mean,
it has a little more. It's almost like 2 Dittos.
Oh, really?
So I didn't want like pre-programmed stuff. Looping to me, it's like people I think start thinking it's fake real quick or it's like a crutch. I'm like, I dare you to make it look so easy, you know, like it's very hard. It's very cool to get your ideas out. You're like recording in live time. There's a lot of craft to that. Yeah. But I didn't want it to be too, you know, I didn't want to, if you give me a lot of buttons, I might press them, you know? Right. So I started off simple, but this one will give me just like a whole nother channel that I can just expand a little bit with. And part of me wants to get like the Voss RC like 600. So I'm like, okay, well now I know what I'm doing. Like I could like get a ton of loopers. Yeah. Like I think I understand looping. So I think if you gave me a far more complex system, I'd be like, oh, watch this. You know, like, oh, here, let me do some bass. Let me do some keyboard. I know how it works, so I don't think I would have many limits. Yeah. But I keep a little on me. So
I think most people know what looping is. I mean, for lack of a better term, looping, live looping. You know, like playing a show. Essentially, you're doing multi-track recording on the fly.
On the fly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't do anything pre-programmed. I use my guitar. Certain parts of my guitar I can hit. You know, if you hit right by the saddle, it's like, I mean, it's a really good kick drum sound. It's what you wish your kick drum sounded like, but it's hard to mic that and EQ it. Yeah. And then, so you're finding stuff. So I build like beats, and then I get a good chord structure out, a good rhythm pattern. And then I get a little more sparkly alternate chord pattern going out. And then I kind of make some thuddy low end bass lines going. And then I can like hit like cruise and I can play leads over it. Yeah. And then I can add to it. I can like, you know, it really was a mix of like when I went to a singer-songwriter thing, it sounded empty and like that's good on some songs. Like after I do a couple loop songs, I pull back and do the most chill acoustic version, GCD with a capo. Yeah. You know, like I think it's good to mix that throughout. So I appreciate that space, but I like that I can get on a big stage and move people like rhythmically and have a little more going on. And I can also pull back the dynamic.
Yeah. I think the first time
it's hard.
I think the first time I ever saw you do that was Wegmans little patio when they had,
Oh,
used
the
to
old
have
Wegmans
the old
gigs.
Wegman gig. Yeah. And it's
like a lobster boil or something.
yeah, I forget what it was, but and that was the first time I ever.
It's a corporate gig, technically. You know, you get a corporate.
Oh,
check.
you got a corporate check. You got because I did one. I think I did one. It was like early on when I was playing. And
fill out a W-9. You got to like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Legit.
I know. I felt like I was like, oh, maybe I am a professional. But that was the first time I saw you do it, and I had no concept. I was like, how's he? I said, oh, he's got that recorder. It's like, no, he's. You know, it just blew me away. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, I'll have people like. I'll watch people do the double take.
Yeah.
They'll like be there for a bit somewhere, and then they'll be like, they'll look back like,
yeah.
Oh, that's a guy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So they're like, man, you sound like my brother. Even like last time I played, which to get to have your little brother, fess up to you doing something really well.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big honor.
Yeah.
But he was like, dude, it just sounded. It's like a really good recording.
Yeah.
He's like, man, you got that dialed in. And,
yeah, you do.
It's been it's very hard. Like I think I've gotten defensive. There was like a whole period of people like thinking it was cheating, or they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Heresy.
Yeah. No.
And it's like, I mean, it's not a crutch by any means. It is harder to do.
Yeah. I mean, you're up at the doctorate level. I'm down at the kindergarten level. And so I appreciate it. It is hard, and it's not cheating. I mean, it's...
No, I mean, just to get your first loop seam is like... And that's always like... I figure I could like teach a very brief class on looping. Like, because I think people are like, okay, I gotta click before I play. And then I'll click, and then it's your non-start.
Right.
It's like, nope, like one, you hit that button.
Yeah.
Like it is... faster than you. It's electricity. It'll get you.
Yeah. Oh,
and if it trims a little bit, you got the back end to like smooth it out. But I always thought of it. I did like photography in college, darkroom, and it's like dodging and burning.
Okay.
Is where you would over or underexpose something that was, you'd like go block the light or send more light to it.
Yeah.
And so I used to do my first 12-bar blues loop, and I would speed up by the end of it.
Yeah.
And so it was an ellipse, not a circle. It was like,
oh, yeah.
It's like and you're like, oh man, am I really speeding up? Boy, I got to get more disciplined with my internal metronome.
Yeah.
Which I've done that. And then I remember I used to like punish myself. I'm like, well, I can't start over in front of everybody.
Right.
So I'm going to have to ride this out. Okay. So I'm going to go faster in the beginning and slow down. To sort of crisscross,
Oh, okay, during the same loop. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
during the same loop, and then you'd like
yeah.
do some movements. The next thing you know, you're like taking like a crappy meal and spicing it up, and like before you know it, it's like it sounds almost human. It sounds like a band that's a little bit pushing and pulling. It kind of sounded real. But now I'm kind of a machine with it.
Yeah, no, you've got it dialed in. So the guitars you play are ones you've built.
Yep,
obviously.
Yep. I haven't
acoustic, electric. And
I have taken like a really crappy Squire out. It's funny. Like I was such a Strat guy, and then I didn't build Strats. I wanted to build something different that I didn't already have.
Right.
And then one day I plugged in a Strat, and I was like, oh man, I miss this so much. And then someone brought in like a pretty cool Squire, but didn't cost any. He was like $70. I'm like, deal. I just stripped that thing down, built it back bigger, better, made it feel as good as any expensive American Strat on the shelf. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. It's like Olympic white. It's beat up, red tortoise, rosewood, and then it's got the big headstock. Yeah. The big Hendrix headstock. All right. So, but I doctored that up, and then I was like pretty hooked on taking that out, and it was so funny when people were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I was going to say that'd be odd to see you play something other than one of your guitars.
I think the ego loosened up eventually about that too, and I was like, "Hey, man, this thing just sounds good. I miss Strats. I have to I built myself 2 Strats, and then I sold them."
Now, the acoustic that you play, is that one that you built out in?
That's one I built at school. Yeah, okay. I recently built. It took a while, but it was the first acoustic build, which is a really difficult thing to tool up for. I couldn't build an acoustic here because I didn't have the tools to do it. I couldn't afford the tools to start. Right. So I was like, if I just had one guy just
and who was that
believe
one guy?
in me
who was that
and
one
be
guy?
really patient. It's Al Faust.
Yep. And I just did his podcast interview last Friday, and I got to play that guitar a little bit.
Told me we were talking about you.
Man, that guitar is beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty magical too. It's funny.
Gosh.
You put it through the paces, like how hard, can I bang this and it stays together? Cool. It's got a lot of headroom. Mm-hmm. But then he did some, it reminded me of like a Mexican love song, like this little gentle ballad. I went and saw him play it.
Yeah.
And it just had like this A minor. It was like a chord progression that reminded me of I'm like eating delicious food in Mexico and in love.
Yeah.
Falling in love with a senorita.
Yeah.
And he played it so gently. And I was like, boy, it is just simmering over there.
Yeah.
It is just this magical sounding guitar played as lightly as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm mixed feelings about saying that guitar is better than the one that I play. But, it shows progress.
But just to look at it, it's beautiful.
It was a gorgeous piece. That was wood I took out to the school and had it.
Well, that's what he said. It's
cut up.
Stuff that you'd brought back from.
Well, I knew a really good woodworker here, and he gave me some really cool pieces as like a gift of encouragement. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, each one of these boards is probably worth $1,000, and it's crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was funny. I kept telling my teachers, like, hey, before I leave, can you help me cut this wood up? I got it from this really amazing woodworker. Mm-hmm. I want to have it cut, resawn, because I still couldn't resaw wood here. Yeah. Can we do that? And they're like, no, too busy. I'm like, but it's really good. And then I remember them like, look, guys, don't go to Lowe's and buy your curly maple. And I was like, I'm bringing it in. Like, they wouldn't believe me what I had. Mm-hmm. So I drive up. I'm like, John, would you please come look at this? And he pulls these boards out. He's like, all right, we're cutting these up today. And just, he was like, where did you get this? It was Babinga and Cocobolo with the sapwood, which is what owl is made of. Yeah. I mean, that's essentially as good. I mean, Brazilian rosewood is the all-time best wood you can make a guitar out of. Yeah. Very hard to get now. It could be $10,000 to get the wood to make it one acoustic guitar. Wow. For about $1,000 you can get Cocobolo, and it is molecularly similar and magical and musical. Yeah. So it's like the best thing you could use nowadays.
How long did it take you to build that guitar that Al's playing now?
Oh man. I mean, so keep in mind I moved my shop. Yeah. COVID hit.
Okay.
Like all these things, like I just had all these things in my way.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think it was like 3.5 years, maybe almost 4, start to finish. But it was just interrupted by by a global pandemic. Yeah. People still are having supply issues from that. No, so, I don't want to use that as an excuse, but it was weird. I think I thought during that, I was like, I'm just going to go back and make a bunch of guitars. And then it was just such a weird time. I wasn't inspired to build the guitars then. Yeah. So, but it did take a while, but now I have all the tools and I'm starting another one here. Of course I moved again and everything, I'm just like, please hang in there. Like some guys takes 10 years to make a guitar.
Yeah. Well, it's like that, Clapton's guitar, the guy that makes them down, I forget where, Virginia or someplace. He's got people been waiting like 10 years for their guitars from this guy.
Yeah. I mean, that is the reality of that art.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I have to, one of probably the hardest things is, not with Al, he was very patient. You could tell there were times where he's like, man, I haven't seen a Facebook post of that guitar. And it's like some pressure. I think, I think the next guitars, I'm trying not to like take pre-orders really. Yeah. Because I want to be very responsible with that. And, I was like, who knows? It's so tricky that I would much rather just build something the way I want to build it. Yeah. And when it's done, someone could come in and we could do a real quick exchange of money for product. But it's also fun to have someone be along for the ride. Right. Well, it could be a long ride.
Yeah, okay. So, last two questions and the other kind of boilerplate question. One piece of gear, anything that you would want to have back that you sold, lost, whatever that you want to get back.
Ooh. I've been pretty good about not selling stuff because I get to watch everybody buy their guitar back from their buddy. I always joked it was like we should just all chip in and have like a rent amount that we can borrow if we get in a pinch. Because then you
don't sell. Yeah,
like you sell your guitar to your buddy and then to make ends meet and then your finances level out. You're like, can I buy that back? Yeah. And so there's this weird little sub economy of we have a barter system or a trade. I don't know.
Well, good. I mean,
don't- yeah.
Yeah, you're the first person that's like, no, I don't have any.
I mean, I've started making my own guitars. I mean, that Strat that I got is like, laying over there in a scrap pile. I'd love to do something with that again. Yeah. I've like thought about selling a few things, but then I was like, I don't know if I should. I have a Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere pedal, and that's like a high dollar ticket right now. Yeah. Just bought a house, and I was like, I don't really use it, although I just plugged it in and it works. And I was like, oh man. But I was like, maybe I should sell that. I think I want to be good at letting things go and make new things, be slim, just have just what I need,
Cool. Well, you're fortunate. No regrets. Last question. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I guess, I'm going to start another recording project, but I'm in the midst of finishing up one. It's actually a live album with my Sean Farley 5 band. Yeah. Plus Stacia and plus Mike Brown. It was actually, I'm looking at it, May 22nd of, I don't know, was it 2019? I did an album release party for Raising the Grain.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we played those songs, we played other stuff, and it was this.
I just kicked the bottle across Sean's floor.
I thought I was going to do that for sure. Mine has sugary liquid in it, so I don't want to do that.
Mine was empty, thank God. Okay, so 2019, the album release party.
Yeah, we did a live recording, a CD release show for the Raising the Grain, and since I learned how to record, I don't want to talk about it. I opened up that recording raw files that I got, and I've been able to spend countless hours at this point mixing like a 7-piece band down. And there's so much magic, so much excitement. It's actually funny. There's so many magical performances, and like the one thing I don't like about it, Michael, can you guess what it is?
Your voice?
Yes. Yeah. Because now I'm singing better.
Yeah.
But this day is so emotional to me, and I'm such a grateful person, and I'm looking out in this packed, audience of just all the support that all these people I love, all these musicians are like playing the most beautiful stuff in support of me, and I want to cry when I hear they're playing. And so I sang that whole show with just the biggest lump in my throat.
Oh, wow.
About to cry. So it was hard to like sing, if I just wouldn't have cared so much that day, I probably would have sang better. Yeah. But the more I've listened to it, I'm like getting okay with it. And then it's funny, Jimmy Lovechick wanted to like repunch something. And I was like, you know what? No. I thought about re-singing this whole thing. No. This is okay. Yeah. Like, this was a moment in time, and we have this wonderful capture, and it is just excellent music, full of magic. And you got to trade something that day. You got to offer something up to the rock gods, and I guess it's going to be my voice. But, if you listen to this when it comes out, and it doesn't sound like my best singing day, just know it's because I'm on the brink of crying pure happiness for what's going on in that room.
I think you said all the musicians, the packed crowd. I mean, I think that speaks volumes to you as a person, but also who you are in this community. So, again, thank you for everything that you've done.
We did it.
We finally did this, but thank you for everything you do. It has been my pleasure over the years to know you, but it's been my pleasure tonight to sit down and get to know you a little bit better.
It's my honor too. I always like these opportunities to, get to. I mean, it helps me think.
Yeah,
I get to reflect.
Yeah, good. I think we have another show because we didn't even touch on like the blues competition. We didn't talk about some of the intricacies of building a guitar. I mean, we could probably do another whole show with you.
Well, yeah, I'd be happy.
It'll probably take us another year to get it scheduled, though. So.
Well, no, actually. So now that I'm not in the mid-moving again, I plan on being a little more accessible here.
Good.
So we'll make this happen again, my friend. All right. I'm happy to anytime.
All right, Sean Farley, thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, this was special for me to sit down with Sean Farley on this episode of the Rec Room Radio Hour. We're going to play out with a song, "No More Blues," and Sean Farley on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
Broken hearted, feeling oh so low. You're starting
I Don't Want to Talk About It. Sean Farley, his new album out now on all streaming platforms. We are glad he wanted to talk to us today at his studios in the Guitarly shop in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And we recorded his podcast there. And it was mixed and produced at Airline Studios for your listening pleasure now. Hey, be sure to listen to the Rec Room Radio Hour each week on WXBI Radio, 88.5 on the frequency modulated dial, www.wxbiradio.org, and we hope that you make a financial contribution to our little radio station while you're there. Hey, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, I am your host, Michael Lundy, asking you to don't fret, stay tuned, and play nice until we meet again on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. Bye-bye.